They do have a platform business, which is their app store. They say they have 2,500 apps in the app store. That's definitely gone up. I do think they have a fledgling platform startup that they're trying to get going. We have another question about Shopify. Shopify is not in Plaid. So you could have a part of your business which is a platform, but to be in Plaid, you have to meet certain thresholds to be considered a platform business by quantitative metrics that look at how much platform revenue do you have compared to how much linear revenue do you have. And there are different ratios based upon the type of platform business that you are. So in the book, Modern Monopolies, we outlined 8 different types of platform businesses. And each one of these platform business types has different thresholds of platform versus linear revenue, determining if you are then included into the ETF. Shopify is not in the ETF. They do have a platform business, which is their app store. It's not a product marketplace. So they are providing SaaS software to merchants and small businesses primarily to go and sell products and have their own e-commerce site, right? They classify their revenue in 2 buckets. This is their 10K. Subscription solutions and merchant solutions. Merchant solutions are revenues earned from Shopify payments, shipping, and other transaction referral fees, or they'll like advance you money. They're a lender. So it's all those kinds of ancillary services to operate your business. That's the merchant solutions. Subscription solutions are more the SaaS businesses, right? And so then the subscription solutions is primarily SaaS revenue. But it also includes revenue from the sale of apps. And that would be platform revenue, right? When we look at their revenue, they break it out into subscription revenue and merchant revenue. The problem is I don't know what the split is between subscription SaaS revenue and subscription. We took a 20 or 30% take rate on these apps that our merchants were buying and paying third-party developers for. Elsewhere in the 10K, they say they have 2,500 apps in the App Store. That's definitely gone up since then. I would venture to guess, so for Salesforce, for example, Salesforce has over $1 billion in revenue coming from their App Store sales. So that actually means they have like roughly a 20, 30% take rate. It varies a little bit on the money spent on apps from the Salesforce App Store. That is one of the triggers to be included as a development platform business in Plaid. So Salesforce is in Plaid. They probably do about $10 billion in revenue, Salesforce does overall. So it's roughly, say, 10% of their overall revenue is platform revenue, but it's a considerable chunk. And actually, for Salesforce, they attribute about a third of their EBITDA, their net income, from that $1 billion in revenue. So, let's just digest that. That's pretty astounding from how high margin that platform revenue is. That means there's actually a lot more than just $1 billion flowing from Salesforce SaaS customers to Salesforce app developers. A lot more than $1 billion in revenue being spent on their app solutions. Salesforce is taking in roughly $1 billion in fees from that total amount of money spent on these third-party app solutions. And those fees are basically probably 90+% margin. They basically fall almost entirely to the bottom line, accounting for at least a third of Salesforce's overall net income. It's a pretty big deal. Salesforce also has labeled that revenue source, the take rate from apps, as their highest growth revenue opportunity out of the entire Salesforce business. So it's a pretty big deal. I don't think they don't, I don't exactly know because Shopify doesn't break this out, which means we can't include them anyway. B, even if they did break it out, I don't think it's going to be anywhere near even a 10% ratio or anywhere near $1 billion. Or it's not going to be at the same level of degree, I think, in terms of the amount of money being spent on these apps and then the take rate that's coming back to Shopify. That is why, overall, I would not classify Shopify as a platform business. I do think they have a fledgling platform startup that they're trying to get going, but it's not at a significant enough scale that I would regard them as a platform company. Point 2 on this is another platform model, which would be tougher for them to pull off. It would be to have a centralized product marketplace to roll up all the stuff that their merchants are selling on their own merchant websites, and then try to create a centralized marketplace that you could then have consumers and customers buy products from the Shopify product marketplace, which would then drive business to Shopify's merchants. That would be a product marketplace model. They would need to really hone that into, 1 or 2 specific verticals. You couldn't just launch that overnight because Shopify has so many different types of businesses using its products. But that could be another platform direction that they could take things if they wanted to. But that's a great question. We have actually gotten a few people kind of buzzing around for Shopify. Hi, this is Alex from Winner Take All. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to leave a comment, ask us questions, and definitely make sure to join us on our next live stream.